way they're ready, ain't no way they know about us ladies, ain't no way they know what we hold. If they did, the whole world would explode. They tried to tame us, ain't no way, no how. Domesticate us, but can't keep a good woman down. She's the one that you're gonna wanna have around. Ain't nobody roll the dice quite like me. There be no place that you'd rather be. I'm the queen of your heart, can't you see? Stick with me, Ruby. Ooh, ooh, it's in the way we moving. Ooh, 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 let's show 'em how we do it. Back it up, baby. Work like a boss, baby. Act like a lady. Classy and crazy. Back it up, stack it up, look me lady. No hesitating, you're in or you're out. She'll make her way out of town if you're dragging her down. You're the one she will never, ever have around. Now that's me freak, no one does it like me. There'll be no place that you'd rather be. I'm the queen of your heart, can't you see? Stick with me, we'll be winning. Back it up, baby. Work like a boss, baby. Act like a lady. Classy and crazy. Back it up, stack it up, look me lady. Back it up, baby. Work like a boss, baby. Act like a lady. Classy and crazy. Back it up, stack it up, look me lady. Ain't no way you know all the places we could go. Silver stars and skies of indigo. Oh, we'll glow on a bed of snow. It don't need explaining what you're craving. I'm just saying I'm not changing anything for you. If you want cloud nine, you've gotta try. We'll fly higher, higher. Back it up, baby. Work like a boss, baby. Act like a lady. Classy and crazy. Back it up, stack it up, look me lady. Back it up, baby. Work like a boss, baby. Act like a lady. Classy and crazy. Back it 球儀から天気予報を順番に予想して占って部屋から出るの一人私公共手段迷いなくかかりつけの医者にお願いすることもある1月末に答え出してたらしテストしたいから助かるね地球のリビングからお送りするこの実験体にならない視聴率も足りないと思うあなたは眠りに落ちていきたい冷静で飛んでしまった猫窓から降りて怪我をするよりは慎重にドアを抜け出す週末に人をお招きするため銀行で下ろすお金は1000万には届かないけど十分に遊んでいける日曜日から始まる二人一組のお話聞いて助かるね迷いなく慎重に迷いなく助かるねここにいれば誰かがいれば迷いなくどちらにつくかわからないでも迷いなく焦ることなく見えない未来にかける言葉よりも失いかけた君の言葉地球のリビングからこの実験体にならない視聴率も足りないあなたは眠りに落ちていきたい冷静で飛んでしまった猫
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting edition of Mindscape. That's right, we're telling a story. Hello.
With
Welcome,
our
welcome.
minds.
With our mind, completely improvised storytelling. Like the camp counselor who didn't prepare a spooky story at the campfire. The kids are demanding one, and now we must make one up. Will it be spooky? Maybe not. Life's mysterious that way. But we're gonna jump into it. Obviously glad to have Steve back. Welcome back, Steve.
Steve's back. Yay!
Even.
They found me and dragged me back here in a potato sack.
It was the last place we looked.
He's not done with his contract yet, so that means he has to keep working. Haha.
Yay! Thank you for being here, Steve.
Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, of course. How's everyone doing? How's their Tuesday?
It's good.
You know, Tuesdays.
I might have mentioned this before, but my roommate is working from home, so when he walks down to at noon to pick up lunch, I'll simulate office conversation to make him feel like it's more normal.
That's very
So
nice.
I'll be like, Tuesdays, am I right?
Got a case of the Monday.
Wow. Wow.
How does that go over? Is that well received, or are you graciously ignored?
He enjoyed the bit once. Me and Dan will state that we always try to make him slip up on telling us how his day was because he always just says fine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Trying to get more information out of him by any means necessary.
One of these days.
One of these days, he's just gonna get the jump on you and be like, "I murdered 3 people," and he's like, "Oh,
Oh,
so fine."
Find out he's a hitman working from Zoom still somehow.
Oh my god, that reminds me. There was somebody I co-op with or something, who started another co-op and looked out his window and saw a body being dredged from the Schuylkill, and one of his coworkers comes over and he's like, "I swear that one wasn't me." And that was not a comment to be made.
Wow.
For the rest of that co-op, the person he said that to apparently like really hated him or something. I forget the actual story, but something along those lines.
Wow, that's deeply unfortunate and unsettling.
Didn't work.
Oh no.
Hero.
Oh my gosh. Also,
I think
Toonlet's
the way-
excited that Not Boogie is back. Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. What? Oh no! I switched up my gaming cases. Boogie's in this one.
Oh
No, how did I do
Thwarted.
that?
Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, Boogie!
no! Boogie!
My man, Boogie!
Steve, there was a moment there when you said, "Oh no, I ... and for a second I thought you were going to say something like "lost Boogie" or like "my parents did a yard sale and sold Boogie," and I was about to
Wow.
be so heartbroken.
Honestly, that would be kind of like ironically fitting of like now that we're finally appreciative of Boogie, he's gone.
He's gone forever.
You don't know what you got till it's gone.
Guys,
That's actually one of the songs in Boogie.
They paved paradise and put in a boogie lot. Ooh, boogie, boogie, boogie.
save all these these lessons, these things. We're gonna need them for our story. We want our story to have a good moral to the story.
Yeah,
A real hero's journey, if you will.
Yeah,
Mhm.
family.
I've got that one over there.
The hit Wii game Hero's Journey.
Yeah.
Why isn't there a hit Wii game called The Hero's Journey?
It sounds like one of those World War II fighter pilot games.
Oh,
it
yeah.
does.
I was thinking like
Hero's
more
Journey.
of like a really like it tries to be open world, but it's incredibly railroady RPGs.
I think it would be like a reskin of Super Mario Sunshine, but as Beowulf.
I feel like a hero's journey would be a subtitle for a JRPG.
Yeah.
It would be like, you know, Furious Sun 7, a hero's journey.
Ooh, fire.
And then it's just a really railroady open world game, like Dom was saying.
Exactly.
Do you think is there an open world game where you play as like a railroad builder? So you could say it's like a railroad open world game.
I hate you so much.
I just want to know
No.
if that exists.
My
Is
hatred
that-
for you
is
is
that-
immeasurable.
Wait, is that Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks?
Oh!
Is it not
Oh!
the first railroad open world game?
Well, it definitely wasn't open world. I know that much.
Damn it.
That's, yeah, it made you think it was, but it's
Wait,
actually a railroad.
Exactly.
It's a railroad open world that's really a railroad.
Yup.
Wow.
Bash. Maybe we're bad at our job.
I don't know. Maybe we just need to go work for Nintendo and just pitch them ideas every day.
Yeah.
You know how many good games would be coming out? So
None,
many.
because they're Nintendo.
Yeah,
They're just
they
gonna
don't be
re-release
trash.
their existing titles.
Tell
We
me
pitch them 10,000 games and they just release another Mario.
Exactly.
You tell me kids wouldn't like a reskin of Mario as Beowulf?
That's
Kids
that's
would-
No, but a reskin of
In a Beowulf as Mario? No,
Yeah,
that's a
we're
game I
talking.
can get behind.
I'm just saying they did it.
Grendel is like, I guess Grendel's mom would be Bowser? I don't.
I'm just saying they already did it for Sonic and Sonic Unleashed, so why can't they do it for Mario?
yes. Sonic Unleashed, the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde of
Exactly.
Sonic games.
There was also one where Sonic was just fighting King Arthur.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
a Transformers movie.
They had that one too. The
I
Knight-
had that one. It was
It's
The
the Knights
one
of the
with the sword.
Ring Table or something. I don't know.
Well,
Knights
Sonic,
of the Round Table.
Sonic, that's a pretty good name, honestly. It's a pretty solid name. Sonic did kiss a JRPG princess in Sonic 06.
Yeah, I
It's
wasn't
true, very
jealous.
uncomfortable.
was that 06? I thought that
Yeah, that was 06. The legendary Sonic 06.
When are we gonna
Wow.
do a Let's Play of Sonic 06 on the channel?
When are we gonna start our Mindscape? Is the better question.
You're right,
Uh,
Steve.
We're letting people come in, get situated, you know, getting their snacks from the lobby, as you would.
Yeah.
No, apparently,
Usher.
the Sonic meets King Arthur was so bad of a game that I actually got rid of it.
Oh wow.
I did play that game actually. I remember.
Am I the only
enjoying it.
person here who didn't play? I've never played.
I didn't
Sonic,
play
I
it.
didn't
to
play
be
that
honest.
game.
It's the
played-
only Sonic game I played, just because it was on the Wii.
I played Sonic and Tails, or maybe it was Sonic 2. I can't remember. One of the original Sonic games on the Sega.
But it's okay, because I've got an unopened copy of Sonic Free Riders.
Fuck
Whoa!
yeah.
Unopened, mint condish.
Ooh.
Can we play that during 24-hour stream?
No, I
I have a Connect.
open it at that point.
Yeah,
Trying to
can't
use the
ruin
Still
it.
value.
sealed.
Yeah.
You can't ruin the market value.
You probably could put that on eBay for a bit of money.
$dollars.
Probably not.
That's more than it's worth.
Oh, I did also play Sonic Unleashed. I enjoyed it.
Oh, I heard Toonwit Sonic the Hedgehog was actually a good game.
Shadow the Hedgehog or Sonic the Hedgehog?
Shadow the Hedgehog.
Shadow.
The one where he has guns?
Yeah,
And
the
is
one where he
on a-
has guns.
On a
Oh my
motorcycle?
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think at one point they made that one where you can create your own like Sonic OC and you play
Oh.
through the game as your own character.
Yeah, Forces?
or what?
Sonic Forces, yeah, I think they made that free on PlayStation Network one month, so I think I have that.
I also
we-
almost bought that game yesterday.
Sonic Forces?
Yeah, there was a bundle deal with that and Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD for $20, and I'm like, is that worth it? And I'm like, wait, no, I should
You're
not
essentially
buy
you're
this.
essentially just buying Super Monkey Ball for $20, and then you just get a free Sonic
Yeah.
OC game on top of it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well, I think I have it for my PlayStation, so we could potentially do a run of that at some point.
Yeah. Shadow the Hedgehog might just be edgy enough for me. You're right, Toonwit.
Keep
I
up.
watched a YouTube video that said that Shadow the Hedgehog was a postmodern masterpiece, and I was convinced.
I listen
Oh.
to everything video essays tell me.
I do. But they have a commanding authoritarian voice. I have to listen to them.
Honestly, a little bit though. A little bit truth in that. In that jab.
That he's a postmodern masterpiece.
No, that you have to listen to everything a video essay tells you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then regurgitate it word for word.
Yeah. Well, no, regurgitate it poorly so that the initial point that they constructed doesn't come across to the person you're explaining it to.
Yep,
Right.
yep, exactly.
That's how you revamp.
Welcome once again to our video essay review
Oh
stream.
my god. Welcome back to Mindscape, a video essay review stream.
No, but we should go ahead and get started.
Stored.
What's the title of our stream? Is it okay? Improvised choose your own adventure. Good. I was hoping it was clickbaity enough.
We should just put boobs.
Boobs? Question mark? Exclamation point? Question
There- Maybe in
And
our
then-
improvised story.
mark?
And then do the laughing crying face emoji.
Oh yeah.
And then write, who did this?
In all caps.
Oh man.
Excellent.
Oh, we summoned hot fresh news. Oh no.
Hey, what up?
Hey, no
Hey,
one said Bob's.
Not a single person.
Bob's Ross.
Bob's Bobopedic.
Bob's Ross.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. All we need to get started is a word. It can be any word you like. It could be a fun word, could be a silly word, a serious word. That word could be a genre, a relationship. It could be a food. It could be two foods. If you find a way, like peanut butter and jelly. See, that's two foods. Yeah,
Word though, is it?
it is if you don't put a space in it. It could be a lot of words without
Anything.
spaces in them.
Anything is one word if you don't put a space in it.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Oh man. What are we?
Could be the
on?
entirety of the.
Weevil!
Evil, you hot
Evil.
dog.
Could be the entirety of A Tale of Two Cities if you take all the spaces out. I'll accept it. I'm not gonna.
Oh, Dom, now you know someone's gonna copy and paste the whole Shrek script.
No, Tom, he got paid per word. Don't do that to the man.
He doesn't deserve it.
And here's the 1 penny I owe you for your 1-word novel.
There's a character max? Well, what is it? We gotta figure out what that max
let's
is.
find out what it is.
Let's test the water, baby. Let's do it.
We can make individual chunks of the B movie and post data separate.
We could make one command that if you did it, it does just regurgitate the whole of a movie script, like using the multiple chat functions, right?
Yeah, that would be
That
the
would
way.
take so long.
That'd be such a good Twitch command.
If
Terrible.
there'd be a way that it could post them all instantaneously at the same time, so just like
Don't think it can.
damn.
I don't think we have that kind of access. Maybe one day if we ever get partnered.
Month.
Makes it cool down once a month. Oh, so it slowly tells.
Oh,
People
just
are
that
always-
you can only do it once a month.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have
People
to
are always trying in chat, but like it never comes up until like they're like, what day of the month was it? What was it last?
No, I would just want to make
Eventually.
it post like a sentence of it every like month, and we see till we get to the end of the movie.
Oh,
a lot of
it would
effort.
be like the stories in the Ape Escape games where you get snippets of the story, but you have to keep collecting items to be able to get the full story.
Mm-hmm.
So by the end of the month, we've read the whole story out.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. All right. Well, we're gonna actually get started. I did not see any words though. 869 days.
Queen?
Nudes gets it. Nudes
Toonwood
gets it.
said queen.
I think Toonwood
Queen?
said Queen.
Yeah,
All right.
the queen.
All right. Queen it is. This is a story about. I'm gonna promise nothing. This is a story.
There you go.
Alex, why don't you go ahead and set the tone of our story?
All right, setting the tone. Okay. God, give me a minute. I gotta steal.
So, for those of you who don't know how this works, let me explain this to you.
Yeah.
Alex is going to start telling the story. When Alex thinks he's gotten to a pretty good place in the story, he'll say, and then, or ... something to clue us in. The four of us will propose alternative next paths for that story to take. Something very vague, that kind of gives you an idea of what you might get to see. Then, we'll let chat vote on who gets it. Once chat has voted, the three people whose options were not picked will at the same time take a vote for whether it's a success or a failure. 3 successes, super great thing happens, the outcome works. 2 up, normal success, maybe mixed results. 2 down, mixed results, little bad. 3, catastrophic failure for that action part of the story. And then we'll keep rolling until it's time for the next person to get a vote.
It's like checks and balances.
Except this one works.
Yeah.
Oh, hey
Heyo.
Heyo.
Heyo. All right. Okay. I guess I'll start us off. Christian was a boring man. Wasn't necessarily by anyone's designation, but by his own. He worked a boring office job, 9 to 5, just about anything you'd expect. Drive a boring car, lived in a boring house on a boring street. Nothing was really that remarkable to him. It wasn't until he really thought about it that he realized just how unremarkable and boring he thought that his life was. Now, Christian was never really one to do much about this scenario that he's found himself in, but I mean, at the same time, no one could really sit there accepting a boring life all their life, right? So one day, instead of going to his boring job in his boring car, he decided to just go for a walk, do something different, maybe see something different, and spark some kind of an interest in himself that might not necessarily be the average boring thing that he would see in every other day of his life. Do I pose a question, or do I just kind of leave a cliffhanger? How do I sort of...
You can do either.
All right. So as Christian goes to leave his house, what does he do?
Christian, upon upon the right before part of leaving the house, doing great. Receives a text message from an old friend, someone he hasn't talked to in years.
Christian leaves his house and starts walking west. He just has a little compass, and whatever way it points west, that's the way he walks.
It starts torrential downpouring, but Christian, determined today not to be boring, walks anyways.
Christian steps outside, smells the afternoon air, and he goes for a run down by the river.
Interesting. So many options for Christian to go.
All right, chat. Now is your time to vote. You can just text 1, 2, 3, or 4 next to the corresponding potential path. So you have 1 to text an old friend, 2 to just walk west, 3 to walk through the rain, or 4 to run down by the river. Vote now.
There's also no 1-800 number, so you won't be
True.
charged either.
That's true. Standard
It's
rates do
completely free.
apply.
You have to give us 3 bits every time you want to vote.
That's not true.
Remember that time we were making a joke about Twitch streamers who are entitled and how they demand that their chat give them bits, and then our chat gave us a bunch of bits, and we looked like assholes. That happened.
No!
Damn it, Lila!
Don't do it, Lila!
Don't do this to us!
Stop!
Remember that time Alex told that story about how we look like assholes and we look like
And then we
assholes?
proceeded to look like assholes again.
Yeah.
Swear, Squid and Lila.
Lila, ironically,
I
that
realize.
comment with the donation did not go through, so please do that again.
Oh, interesting.
I don't think it shows up on
I guess
this
bit
with
donations
this.
don't
Yeah.
count as votes. There. So if you donate, we're not even going to count that as a vote. So don't.
That's how
Oh
much you
no! That's how much you should stop donating.
Oh, man.
I love it. I love it. All right.
Right
Well, I
now,
guess it's,
we have a 3-way.
Yeah, just try again, Lila.
Just no, don't try donating again. Just type it in.
No money.
Just a normal free type it in chat.
Get that shit out of here. We don't want money.
And one
We
way-
need exposure.
No.
Exposure. Yeah, we want to be paid in exposure.
Take all the money that you would give us to bits or subscriptions and turn it into Facebook marketing for us as advertisements.
All right, so
Honestly,
this,
marketing is
I'd take it.
right now there is a 3-way tie.
Let's go.
So the next vote counts more than anyone else who came before it.
Unless they say
No.
one that hasn't been voted for yet.
That's just mine. You can skip mine.
If no one votes, it's gonna be yours, Dom.
Damn it, Lila.
We'll just do the negative option.
I don't know. Lila voted for mine, and Lila gave bits. So
Yeah, so yours
Negative-
counts the least of
Negative
all.
points.
Yeah.
We can't reward generous
Yeah, no,
behavior.
we are dissuading generosity here.
Oh, but really, guys, clip parts of the show and send it to Campbell's unsolicited and without any context.
We'll get that
Yes.
sponsorship one day,
One day.
Okay. So
Exposure.
but we're not going to directly try to get the sponsorship.
we still have this 3-way tie, and I think it's been long enough. So what we want to do?
All right.
I guess let's just take the odd one out, aka Doms.
Alrighty.
Oh wait, we got to vote.
Oh yeah. Wait, sorry. What's Dom's?
It's
Walking west.
just starts walking west.
Never mind.
Oh, okay.
3, 2, 1. Shkaboom.
2 ups and a
All
down.
right. 2 ups and a down. All right. Christian takes out his compass and it kind of spring, and then it points north as a good compass does. So he ignores that. Starts walking west. It's 1 foot after the other. Christian starts off today with a very simple goal. To make my life not boring, I'm just gonna walk west. I'll see how far I get, and at the end of the day, I'll turn around and come back. Nothing more. As they start to walk, 1 hour becomes the next hour. They're surprised by their own stamina. Christian sees his neighbors and he waves to them and they wave back. Christian sees, he gets to the edge, he passes the railroad tracks. Then he walks a little bit more and he passes the convenience store. He looks in and sees the people inside, same as they ever were. As Christian walks though, he starts walking and it starts to sunset a little bit. It's going down, at its normal pace. Setting in the west, he'd walk towards the sun. And then his shoes start to break down as one foot steps in front of the other. At an unnatural pace, they start to disintegrate around his feet, crumbling off as he walks. Before he knows it, there he is, barefoot, in the side of the road, alone, and the sun has just gone down. What happens to Christian next?
Next, Christian is far, far away from his home at this point, and he needs to seek shelter. Just so happens there's a small wood nearby where he can huddle up under a tree for a while.
It's a start, Christian thinks to himself, but it's not necessarily mold-breaking enough to go home at this point. So he's going to push onward, westward.
Christian looks further west and sees tumbleweeds pass by. He looks so far west that there's old ransacked towns with gold mines, and he realized that he's might have walked a little too far west.
Christian looks back behind him towards the east, and the lights of the town start to come on. It's very far in the distance, but as he looks north, he sees lights that are even closer. Maybe he should walk north, he thinks.
Wait for
Or a
it.
walking simulator. This is the new Firewatch.
All right.
Nobody realized Christian was a goat.
All right, vote now.
That would explain why his shoes weren't so good. Goat shoes are hard to come by.
Goat shoes are hard to come by in these parts. Ooh,
Okay.
not surprising, not surprising.
Thanks, Toonwit.
Hey, Toonwit.
Much later.
And what's
Hi,
up?
Toon.
What's up, Lunk? Thanks for the vote. All right.
All right, how's it looking?
Another minute. We currently have look for shelter in the wood in the lead.
All right. Dan, I think for the sake of brevity, I think that moving forward we can impose a strict 35-second time limit on voting.
How about
Great.
1 minute? Because it only tells me in 1 minute increments. So when it says
All right,
one,
a strict
I'll-
1
works.
minute.
All right, it's been 1 minute. So
It's no
Okay.
35 seconds. But
all right, look for shelter in the wood. Let's
That's
roll
Steve,
for
right?
success.
That is Steve.
3, 2, 1.
Oh boy. Christian walks towards the narrow wood, surrounded by car lanes and little noise, not as much as you would expect, but he walks in for a decent amount, keeping his compass needle pointed to the west, and wanders around until he can find a nice large tree. In the middle of this clearing is this large old oak with knotted burls and roiling bark that you would only see in a tree extremely old, such as the grandma tree from Pocahontas. And under this giant oak, there's not a lot of stuff on the ground other than some grasses and some other taller floor vegetation. But there seems to be a nice area where the trees are not. And so Christian walks over and decides to settle under this tree. And he sits there and he listens, and in his ear whispers a small voice as they say, "Hello, welcome." Who is welcoming Christian to the wood?
Christian peers up into the tree, but doesn't see anything. And yet the voice continues, "Ah, so you've noticed my leaves." Yeah, no, that's it.
Christian looks down, and between his tired legs is a small toadstool mushroom who waves a little hand and says, "Ah, slumbering for the night, are we?"
There's Christian turns behind him to find the voice of a small child with a school bag strapped around his back. And it seems as though the school child is beckoning to Christian.
Christian looks up to see an old woman holding a tree branch as a cane. And she has pockets, the sound of pockets full of hard candies.
Yes, Christian knows her pockets are full of hard candies.
They're very loud candies.
They're all unwrapped Werther's originals. They make a very distinct.
Vote now.
I'm so nervous to see how chat votes for this one.
Yeah.
This is
This is
going
a
to
big
turn
one.
it in a direction.
You only have 40 more seconds.
Vote now like your vote matters.
Because it does. Oh, we have 3
Triple
votes
two.
for the
Oh
toadstool.
boy,
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah-oh.
that's going to be hard to beat.
Fifteen more seconds.
Wait, I thought you said you couldn't tell the secondage. You could only
I
tell when it gets-
lied. It showed me before 1 minute.
And
And that's a minute. Toadstool mushroom. Let's roll for a success. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, super success.
I don't even know
Alright.
what a success in this case means, but
You'll find out. As Christian is slowly nodding their head, about to slumber, they hear the small voice, "Hey, I wouldn't do that if I were you!" And he looks down, and there's the tiny toadstool mushroom. The mushroom is fully planted in the ground. It has a cute little face, almost like someone had taken a finger paint and smeared a smile across it. And with a little wisp of a hand, just the one, it waves to Christian. Christian jumps back and he says, Are you real?" And the small creature goes, "Well, probably, unless you've been eating mushrooms." And then it into the ground, and it out the tree, full on Diglett style. It pops up from the side of the tree. There should be nowhere for this thing to emerge from the side of the tree, but fully parallel with the ground. It looks at Christian and it says, "Like I said, though, I wouldn't sleep here if I were you." As Christian goes to turn, "Why? Where should I sleep?" It backs into the tree and backs up near his hand on the ground. Christian instinctively pulls his hand back, still sussing out the creature. And the small mushroom man says, "Well, these woods are kind of, under territory of the bear spirit." And if a mushroom could shrug, the one little hand aims to the sky. "So if you sleep here, you might not wake up here." And it's back into the ground. It doesn't seem to emerge anywhere, and Christian takes for a second, waiting for the pause, and anticipates it. But it doesn't come back out. And he goes, well, where would I wake? And then right by his head, yo, you won't wake up at all. I'm saying you're gonna die if you stay here, Christian. And he goes, wait, how do you know my? And it goes away. And there's another moment. And another moment. And then what happens?
Then, after the last retreat of Christian's new mushroom friend, if we can call him that, or it that, Christian gets up, obviously concerned with his previous choice of sleeping arrangement, and begins to wander around a little more, just not too far, and looks into the woods and sees two dotted lights looking back at him.
Christian knows it's probably best, even if it is a hallucination, to heed the mushroom's warning, but he's too tired to go looking somewhere else for shelter, so he tries to climb the tree and sleep up in the tree tonight.
Christian looks back towards the paved road that he came from, except he doesn't see a paved road. He sees a dirt road with a small, old-looking lantern dotted with a few straw houses.
Christian is like, I must be more tired than I thought, and goes back to sleep, but is awoken very quickly by what seems to be large footsteps that shake the earth. And it's coming closer.
Spooky. What's gonna happen?
Boy.
Alright, time to vote.
This one's gonna shape a lot, chat, so make sure you choose the correct answer.
Yeah.
There
If
is
you
a correct
choose
answer.
As
Yeah.
always, there is a correct answer.
Well, if they choose the incorrect answer, they get a game over and we restart.
It's true.
Yeah.
To restart.
It's like that classic Netflix movie.
Bandersnatch.
I was talking about Minecraft Story.
Oh, Minecraft story mode? Yeah. Good lead. Good lead.
Wait, 30
Was that
more
on
seconds.
Netflix?
It was.
Yeah,
Oh.
there was a Choose Your Own Adventure movie version of Minecraft Story Mode.
Pretty sure Sam Riegel played Steve, too, if I'm not
Really?
Or he was in it. I don't know if he played Steve, but I know he was
Huh.
in it.
Interesting.
It's a split vote right now, but who will
2
take
more
it?
seconds.
Vote, 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 vote.
And that's a minute.
Alrighty. Well, I think the way we'll do it, just to resolve it moving forward, is tie goes to the person who was just talking, since they don't get anything else to do. So
So you
between
just keep going?
yeah.
Oh.
No. I mean, tie goes. I'll pick the tiebreaker.
Okay.
Okay.
Dom has all the power now, and
It's just like
decide.
always gonna be
Yeah.
ties.
We're gonna go with option 3. Go back to the new dirt road.
All right. Oh, go back to the new dirt road. Thumbs, in 3,
2.
2, 1. Oof. Okay. Christian, now weary from his walking and rejection of sleep, is stumbling at this point. Feet a little bit bumped and bruised from the jagged underbrush of the forest, walking shoeless. Even his socks are beginning to degrade at this point. And Christian finds himself back at the street where he had found himself prior. What used to be a modest highway is now a much more modest dirt road. He looks back in the direction that used to be highway as far as he can see, where he passed the gas station and whatnot, but he sees none of it. He can see merely just this dirt road heading off in an area until it gets shrouded by trees where he came from. He looks up to the sky that's quickly darkening, and he even realizes that it's not the same pale yellow or red that it normally is at 8 p.m. Living outside a city, it never really gets dark out. But even now, when it's just about 7 or 8 o'clock, it must be, it's getting quickly dark, and he can see so many stars in the sky. In this dirt road that he's came back on, he realizes he needs to come back to reality and figure out just where he can sleep, because that's just about the only thing that Christian cares about. And frankly, Christian just knocks right on a door. What happens next?
Christian hears a bold, gruff voice come from inside the house. Oh, what do you want?
Right when Christian finishes knocking, a sudden, unescapable urge or a wave of sleepiness, tiredness. He gets really
Exhaustion.
tired. Yeah, exhaustion. There's the word. Overtakes him, and he falls asleep and collapses right on the doorstep.
As he's knocking, he hears the sound of music, a jovial, jaunty tune coming from inside, just as the door slams open.
The door creaks open, but he doesn't see anybody inside, so he lets himself in.
Lots of options there. Chat, how do you want the door to open?
Yeah. This is door opening simulator.
All right,
Yeah.
here we go.
I like-
Vote it up.
Option number 2 of how does the door open? It doesn't. You pass out.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, if Christian's our POV character and he passes out before the door opens,
That does sound like a game end. I don't know why I'm picking this up. It's empty.
Oh, pretending to drink is my favorite thing to do in the whole world.
Yeah, Steve's
Oh, I do it
totally
all the
drinking.
time. There are like probably the amount of times I can count on one hand that I have started a stream with something in that. And how many times do I like casually just pick it up and like pretend to take a drink?
It's just nice to have something to do sometimes, honestly.
Mhm.
I don't blame you there. I don't blame you. Wow. Y'all are really working against yourselves here. You gotta start voting the same things.
Well, they have different interests,
Yeah, exactly.
fair.
Don't tell them
Where's
how to
that
vote.
15 seconds left.
and there aren't really enough of them to notice the trend and then sway the vote necessarily.
Valid points, valid point. If anyone wants to vote, all you need is one number.
One little finger.
One number.
There's a... No, we're not gonna get into it. There's a great song.
All right.
There's a great song about... Oh,
And that's it. We got to vote for lets himself into abandoned house. All right, vote in 3, 2, 1. Are you guys voting?
Steve.
Is that
That's
3
three
success?
thumbs up.
All right.
Yeah.
So Christian, as the door slowly opens, he looks inside. He sees a mostly abandoned house. There's not much furniture in there, just a few crates and a few what look like sacks of potatoes and maybe a pile of hay in the corner. He looks around and doesn't see if anyone was around, so he bundles together some of the hay in the corner. He lays it down and he rests his head and he falls asleep. And as he's there sleeping that night, gets a long, good rest. As he's waking up, he hears outside of his house the sounds of horses? A bunch of horses running, and a few what sound like human voices. Something much busier than when he originally fell asleep to. He stands up and stretches, and he walks out to the door and he opens it up. And when he looks inside, or when he looks outside of the house, he sees a fully functional village. There are bakers baking, the smell of bread comes in, there's people walking among the streets. They all are in what looks like potato sacks and rags. Everyone's, metaphorically, not too literally, everyone's walking about their day, running their errands, and he stares as he doesn't remember this happening at all. And then out of the wood side of the house pops out the little mushroom friend. And he says, "Oh, you shouldn't be here." And Christian's like, What do you mean I shouldn't be here? It's like, "I told you not to disturb the bear spirit." And it's like, what are you talking about? And it's like, if you sleep near that tree, you have a different perception of time. You've traveled in a direction you shouldn't have gone. And Christian's like, what are you talking about? And the mushroom's like, well, you know how, like, gravity works when you're near something different, time passes different? Well, the tree's so big with spirit mass that it sets you in reverse. Alright, I'm a mushroom. I didn't take a physics class, alright? I don't really, but you get the idea. It follows the same-ish logic, alright? And he's like, how do I get back? How do I get back to my time? And the mushroom's like, oh, shoot! And it goes back into the house. And he's like, mushroom? And then he looks up to see why the mushroom retreated. Standing in front of Christian are 5 cavalrymen, all up in their horses, wearing plated armor that look down at him. They say, "You, peasant! What are you doing here?" What does Christian say?
Christian fumbles awkwardly as the startling of the men and the retreat of his cohort approach him, and he bumbles out, I was going west.
Christian looks at the men and realizes, well, there's no way I can explain my way out of this one. So he starts running through the village, hoping that the giant horses won't be able to keep up with him as he dodges in and out of the streets.
Another guard smacks the other one on the back of the helmet and says, "There's no way to talk to a legendary hunter."
Christian says, I am a wizard. I demand to be taken to your lord. Yes.
All right. Time to
Spicy.
vote, chat.
Bonjour!
Bonjour.
Also, Alex, if you get voted, there's no way that Street Rat is not playing. Just so you know.
I don't buy that.
Still, I think he's rather tasty.
Gotta eat, gotta eat to live.
Otherwise, we
when
get
I have
along.
the time.
I say one of the more disappointing Broadway shows I've seen. So.
Oh, really?
Yikes.
Aladdin? Yeah. Shane would agree with you. He ushered that show for like 4 months.
Oh.
Seen
Pretty.
it like 100 times because of that.
It just wasn't. There was nothing there. It felt like. It's like airplane cookies, right? You eat them and you're like, well, this wasn't filling, nor was it overly tasty. Yes,
Yeah,
it exists. Yep.
I went and saw it, and I didn't hate it. But the only thing I really remember from it was the genie's solo.
Mhm.
So
Ooh,
Yeah. Which is the highlight of that show, anyways.
we
Yeah.
got a tie between the legendary hunter and I'm a wizard. Take me to your lord. Thanks for everyone for voting. To break the
time up.
we will
stand.
go with I'm a wizard. Take me to your
I'm a
lord.
wizard, baby.
Vote for success. 3, 2, 1, vote.
Steve.
Vote.
Then
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
All right, take
okay.
it away.
The guards say, "Wizard, yes, we have a few in our town." And Christian goes, "Oh shit, yes. Bring me to all of them. We will discuss wizardry." And they say, "Come along," and they pull Christian up. Now realizing that Christian's wearing much of the same metaphorical potato sack and rags that everybody else is wearing, and he's plopped upon the horses of one of the cavalrymen, and he's brought along throughout the streets, and he smells the baking of bread, the horse manure. He smells the all of the day-to-days of life. There's the people bustling through the streets, a few elderly folk holding armfuls of scrolls, and he sees little children playing odd little games in the streets and being scolded to get back into the school. School really just is another ramshackle shack. But he sees one house that's larger than the rest. Perhaps not a house, perhaps it's a manor. And he realizes it must be the Lord's manor. As they trot along in the street, they go to this large house. It's actually deserving of the word ornate, which you can't really use for anything else in this town. And they carefully plop Christian back down onto the muddy dirt streets. And one of the guards dismounts. And this guard says, "I am Tabitha. I am the leader of the guards, and I shall guard you as we go to meet the Lord." And Tabitha says, "Continue on your way, on your patrol." And all the other horses, all the other cavalry go, and they make their way up the stairs. Not too many. It's not a grand courthouse, but there are notably stairs to this manor. And Tabitha opens the large double doors to open up to a hall with a large fire in the middle, the fireplace. And Tabitha says, "Announcing Excuse me, traveler. What's your name?" And he says, "Tabitha, my name is Christian." And Tabitha says, "Thank you." "Announcing Wizard Christian!" And at this point, there's not too much going on in the manor's house, but there is notably one person in ornate garb sitting atop a stone chair at the far end of the hall. And it must be the Lord. They make their way through the hall past a few courtesans, and the Lord says, "You, wizard, I am glad to have you amongst my ranks. Tell me about yourself. Who are you?"
Christian, immediately struck by the clear wealth and power of the Lord, utters the only thing he can from his mundane existence that he has to reflect upon. I'm the great wizard, Harry the White.
Christian pauses for a moment, trying to rack his brain around any kind of, stories or fairy tales that he might be familiar with, before saying, "I am Christian, a wizard. I'm able to, I can I bring knowledge from a land very far from here.
Christian, embracing the moment, confidently steps forward and says, "Behold my magic prowess."
Christian looks up at the Lord and he looks back, still not sure if this is real, and he says, "Where am I?"
Sometimes it's good to ask.
All right.
Mm,
Time to vote.
Tasty options. Tasty options.
So many.
Mm,
A
that
regular
buffet
feast of options.
Mm-mm. It's not an all-you-can-eat. You can only order one.
Take me to your lord. I'm a wizard, baby.
Oh, I thought you were going for a take on me there for a
Me
second.
too.
Oh no.
Take me,
Me,
Lord.
Lord. Take me, Lord.
Take me,
your
Lord.
Lord to me.
Splouch me, God.
Splunch me,
Punch me,
God.
God.
Wait, chat. Vote it up.
A little quiet.
Timer hasn't even started yet. Oh,
Oh.
Votes are flooding in.
Remember,
Flooding.
if you order too many options that you can't eat, you're gonna get charged for the options that you don't eat.
True. It's an all you can eat.
All right. Well,
triple
it
three.
looks like we have a full 100 for Behold My Magic Prowess. Success in 3, 2, 1.
Stephen.
Oh,
extreme failure.
extreme failure.
I kind of saw that one coming.
Yeah, it happens. So Christian steps forward, fully embracing the moment, and says, "Behold my magic prowess!" And he whips open a lighter, and he produces a small flame with the lighter. And he goes, "Ta-da! I have made fire!" And the Lord, on his large stone chair, like sitting in a rather relaxed position, scoots forward ever so slightly to the edge of the chair, and with a careful raise of the eyebrow goes, "I am not impressed with such simple magics." And the Lord himself produces an open fire in his hand. And he goes, "These are parlor tricks, to say the least," and snuffs it out. Christian, fully panicking at this point, takes a step back, bumps up against the head of the guard, gives a wry smile, and steps forward once again. The Lord, in a booming voice, says, "If you are a wizard of any sort, produce for me a magical artifact that is worth my time and patience." Christian starts to panic. He doesn't really know what to do at this point. But then, looking over into the corner of the room, he sees a tiny little hand waving at him. It's the Mushroom Man. He gives kind of a wink, and Christian, on a leap of pure faith, says, "Behold what I bring from the earth!" And he raises his hand, and there's an awkward pause as Christian and the Lord lock eyes, and then suddenly a little whoop, the mushroom pops up from underneath the ground, right next to the Lord, on the stone, out of the stone of the chair. The Lord looks shocked, and he claps. "Conjuring another living creature is no easy feat. I applaud your studies, great wizard. But I must implore you, I have a quest that befalls even my own greatest men. The guard," and then kind of shoots a look past Christian, "has yet to be able to help me. Nor have my other magical attendants." And he looks to the side, and 3 elderly men in blue robes kind of like quickly avert their gaze. Even I, of my own strength. And as he says this, he puts his hand on the stone chair, and it starts to char a little bit as flames lick up past it before it puffs out into black smoke. Even I, with my own magic prowess, have been unable to attend to the deed. Are you looking to serve your kingdom this day?
Christian, presented with the question, looks up at the Lord and he says, "It may not be my kingdom, but I'll do it for the right price."
Christian takes in his surroundings before looking up at the Lord and saying, "This isn't a question you're asking, is it?" And Tabitha slowly nods at Christian.
Christian says, I will be able to solve any quest easily. However, there is a spirit tree that's draining my powers. We have to destroy it before I can complete any quest for you.
Christian looks up at him and is like, is the quest gonna be better if they with mushrooms? Cause that's really the only thing I can do. I can only do mushrooms.
Dan, did you just go full author insert there for a second?
Wait, Dan, do you get frustrated when people say that you're similar to Napoleon Dynamite?
No. All right, vote, people. God.
So this quest, you need mushrooms. One talking mushroom to be specific.
And
I
there
want
is
to do
a
a freaking quest! God!
Dan, there
Eat
is
the
a
mushroom.
there is an anime I was watching, and one of the main like antagonists is a mushroom-based magic guy, and he's pretty powerful. People are like, he's one of the greatest wizards.
It's just the hero's journey. We're low now, but we'll become a mushroom master by the end.
And you do know that Christian didn't summon the mushroom, right?
Yeah.
You two were fooled by his magic prowess.
It was such a failure that even the author was fooled.
Fooled, yeah.
All right, we got a three-way tie as we speak.
Do we have time for another vote, or is it over?
We can wait for him. We can give him another.
I don't know if there's anyone else
30
to
seconds.
vote.
Ah, there are people here. They're chilling. They only
Good
vote
job,
once.
Jack.
Well done.
You can vote.
You can
Type any number.
break the tie. Do it.
Yes.
You're gonna say two,
swear.
aren't you?
You're
gonna say two.
I swear.
Oh my god. Do you guys remember in Harry Potter when Voldemort finally touches Harry's forehead?
Yes.
That's what we want you to do, but a number on the
well,
keypad
I'm
instead of
pretty
Harry's
sure that-
forehead.
I'm pretty sure that counted as two.
It
didn't
does.
it? It's a four-way tie.
Woo!
All right. I'm gonna go with this isn't a question, is it?
All right. Vote for success. 3, 2, 1. All right.
Okay. The Lord gives a slight chuckle. Wiser than you look, wizard. And he proceeds to start sort of signaling to his court to make preparations. You see, this kingdom is under siege. We have been fending off forces to the east, and we're going to need all the help we can get to make sure that our land stays secure. So, I'm going to need you to go to the Eastern Front and confront the Baroness who has been assaulting this land. She is by no means an easy or easily manipulated person, but I believe that with you and your abilities of conjuration, you might be able to fool her yet. Take heed, though. This will not be an easy journey simply to get to the Baroness. It will be very treacherous on your way there. I will have Tabitha and some of my finest guards take you to our eastern border, but from there you will have to travel on your own. I trust your magical skills will be able to keep you safe. Well, needless to say, Christian looked completely defeated, but did what he must because, as we know, there's really not much of a choice to be made for him. So, after a little bit of preparation, he's given some time to sort of wander around the village, get some of that fresh bread that was being baked earlier, talk to some of the other wizards about what their powers and capabilities have been and what they've tried in the past. As it turns out, there's really not much reasoning with the Baroness. They haven't really tried too much of a full-on assault on her land, but they also haven't really been successful in any attempts to try to de-escalate the situation. So, with this little bit of knowledge that he has, and really no magical power other than a small talking mushroom, Christian is sent off, initially with some guards until they get to the border of the kingdom. Right as Christian goes to leave and venture on his own, Tabitha stops and says, "Well, good luck. I know it's strange for us to rest so much on a complete stranger, but we're hopeful that you will be able to get, some kind of result out of her. Unfortunately, this is as far as we'll take you, but do be careful of the bear spirits out there." So, Christian sets off in an easterly direction, as that's all he was really given. And soon he comes upon a very dark wood, very thick vegetation, dense, hard for the sun to even be seen through it. Right as he gets to the tree line, his mushroom friend pops out of one of the nearby trees.
"So, you're gonna need to go into the woods, huh? It seems like this is gonna be pretty tough. You got some kind of a plan?"
Christian just sort of shrugs and shakes his head. "I haven't had a plan this entire time, and it's gotten me this far."
"Well, I'll be here if you need me, but I am just a mushroom, so you're not gonna be able to get too much help from me."
And with that, Christian starts setting foot into the forest. It's tough to really make his way through the forest. There's no set path or clearing that he can get to. It's just sort of trudging through the dense vegetation, thick leaf cover on the ground and whatnot. And eventually, he starts hearing the noises that you expect to hear in a dark, gloomy forest. Some cawing of birds, some chattering from some kind of small creatures, some strange whispers and moaning that may or may not be actual living things, may just be the trick of the mind or the wind cutting through the thick vegetation. But eventually, he does manage to make his way to a small clearing, a sort of outcropping where the trees seem to be growing separately from each other, and instead some moss-covered rocks cover the ground. What does Christian do next?
Christian stops to assess the situation, see if there's anything he can add to his rations for the time being. And as he does so, he hears a gurgle behind him.
Christian sits down to eat the small lunch that was prepared for him before his departure from the village. And as he stuffs his face full of a meat sandwich, he calls the mushroom forth once more to have an idle conversation.
Christian sees a calculator on the ground.
Okay.
What's that doing here?
Christian, a bird flies by, and Christian looks up at it and takes a step back to see it, but ends up tripping and falling into a ditch.
Dom, I like how yours is make small talk.
He just wants he wants answers, and the mushroom might have them.
Vote
Yeah.
it up. Vote it up.
Put it up.
That's what I like to call a campfire moment, if you will.
Vote it up.
Vote, 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 vote.
Get out and vote. Pokemon, go to the keyboard.
Oh no, Max.
I'm sorry. I feel bad about it.
Oh no.
What a throwback.
Dang, and I liked your answer. I'm sorry you're not going to get any votes now.
It would be like that.
All right, we have a 4-way tie. as it
Four-way
stands.
Why are you
of
doing
course, of
this?
course.
I mean, at least all of our things are interesting.
It's true. It's true.
So I got to choose,
Yeah,
huh?
chat's hive mind is on another level tonight.
All right. Let's have Christian fall in a ditch.
Alrighty, vote for success. 3, 2, 1. Success. Okay, I guess I'll interpret
Fails at
success.
falling in a ditch.
Well, no.
I know, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no.
Christian takes a moment to catch his breath, and then a large bird, larger than he's ever seen before, flaps and goes right by his head. He ducks and he quickly looks up. It seems to be circling back around towards him. He takes a few steps back and falls face back first down into a ditch. He falls about 10 feet and lands hard on his ankle. It feels a little sprained, but he can't know for sure. He lets out a long ah, and in that moment, little mushroom pops out of the side of the ditch, and it's like, Christian, what are you doing? Why are you falling down a ditch? And he says, I didn't mean to do any of this. I just wanted to have an exciting day. And Mushroom's like, well, this seems pretty exciting to me. And goes back inside. And he's like, ugh. And he tries to stand up, but he really can't put any weight on that leg. He looks up and he can't reach the lip. It's about 3 feet too much higher than he can reach. And then he sighs and waits for a moment, thinking of what to do. And he's like, Mushroom? Mushroom, are you there? And the little mushroom guy pops back out and he's like, yes, what do you want? And he's like, can you help me get out of here by any means? And he's like, do you even know my name? And he's like, no, I don't believe you've told me your name, Mushroom. And he's like, well, I did, and until you remember, I'm not helping you out of this ditch. And he goes back away, and he's like, name. Christian thinks long and hard, but he's really sure that he never heard this mushroom's name before. If anything, he doesn't even know the Lord's name or any of the other people. He barely remembers the name of the person he's supposed to go meet. And he goes, Mushroom, can you tell me your name again, please, and help me out of here? And the mushroom pops back out and is like, no, you should remember. And Christian thinks, and he's like, I've never learned it, so... And he says out loud, Tony? And the mushroom pops back out and be like, you remembered my name. He's like, oh, okay, Tony, can you help me out of here? And he's like, only because you remembered my name, which is Tony. And the mushroom, he pops back away, and a few seconds go by, and the ground starts to shake a little underneath him. And he's like, what's going on? And as the earth starts to break away underneath his feet, a mushroom about 10 times larger than Tony rises out of the ground and rises all the way up through the ditch until he is now ground level with the ground. He rolls off of the top of the mushroom and sits on the side. Now able to see under the hat top part of the mushroom, he sees what is clearly Tony's face on a much larger mushroom. And Tony goes, "There you go. Hope your ankle gets better." And he largely tremors back into the ground. And he's like, wait, Tony, you can get big, Tony? And Tony pops back out in the same little thing next to his face. And he's like, yeah, it's just more discreet to be small. Why would I be that big when I'm trying not to get eaten by all the humans around? And he's like, I guess that is a good point. Do you think you could help me? I don't know how you would help me move forward. I really don't know what I'm doing. And Tony's like, well, I helped you get out of the ditch, but I feel like this is something you're gonna have to figure out on your own. I can only help so much, as I am only a mushroom named Tony. And Christian goes, well, thank you for all you've done. I just want to really go back home. Tony's like, well, you'll have to be connected with a really strong spirit if you want to go back where you went, because spirit's how you got here, spirit's probably how you have to leave. I haven't really seen this before, but best of luck to you. And Tony goes back away, and Christian's like, okay, maybe this Baroness woman will know more than Tony does, and maybe know more about spirits than I. If she's this powerful, maybe she knows something that's as powerful to do time travel. So Christian gets up on his hands and knees and then steps one foot down and starts limping his way forward into the woods even further. What happens? What does he do next?
It seems like minutes or hours pass as he limps his way through the woods, glancing up at the sky every so often just to check the time of day. And every time he looks up, he sees the bird that swooped down at him, that made him fall and break his or injure himself. And it's staying above him perfectly.
It's 1857. A small town just outside of the Oklahoma Territory is settling, and it's growing slowly, but it's still a pretty small place. A young girl is running around playing in some of the grassy field when she hears her mother call to her to come back inside for supper.
A man perched on a stump in a squat position, whittling a small piece of wood. Christian comes upon a large gate surrounding an equally large treehouse aesthetic, and it just says cobblers on it.
Christian, out of exhaustion and pain from his leg, simply cannot walk any further. He falls and he blacks out.
Max really jones in for a blackout.
All right.
Dude just keeps on fainting.
Here we go. Vote it up, chat.
Canonically, he's never fainted, though. Oh, the choice is yours. Tony Toadstool.
Tony Toadstool.
Tony Toadstool.
Fainting is the best plot device. You guys can't deny it.
I believe amnesia is the best plot device.
I don't know. I've only gotten amnesia twice playing Pokemon, but I blacked out a lot more.
Actually, you white out in Pokemon?
Depends on the game.
I'm pretty sure you
They
brown
switch
out
back
in
and forth.
Pokemon.
Dan, how much lemonade are you
Dan has run out of Pokemon. He shits himself.
Dan's heat is empty. He turns to hard alcohol.
Oh, God. Machamp uses Karate Chop. It's super effective. Lanoon fainted. Dan ran out of Pokemon. He browns out. and you lose $1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
shit yourself, give them money, and leave. Oh God!
We gotta stop letting this guy into a cafe.
Oh, it's so good.
All right, we have
Dang.
a winner with a man on the stump by the gate of
Oh.
cobblers. Vote for success in 3, 2, 1.
Oh boy. As the gate creaks open, almost as if to invite Christian in, this is the first sign of humanity or infrastructure that Christian has seen since he departed from the guard on the eastern border. He's hesitant, and he looks expectantly towards the ground for a small mushroom friend to give him the okay, but when none pops up, Christian takes his step in. As he steps forward, his feet continue to move, almost as if he loses control of them. Trying to remain calm, though, he sees where his feet take him. And sure enough, his feet walk him up into the large open door of the treehouse. The man, all the meanwhile, sit there perched with a long white beard that touches the bottom of the earth, while the man himself is hunched over, whittling a small, almost like a horseshoe-shaped piece of wood. He gives him a nod and a big, toothy, although missing several of the teeth, smile as Christian walks against his will into the rather well-lit, very well-decorated, not ornate by any stretch of the imagination, but clearly comfortable and lived-in house that is this tree house. He finds himself walking up the stairs past the modest living room as it spirals around the outer trunk of the tree, and then finds himself going in once more to what looks to be a small workshop. There's like a sewing machine on another smaller stump that's been dragged into the larger circumference of this tree. There's also fabrics and things like that, and a number of shoes hung backwards all along a wall. There's about 20 of them in a grid. As Christian sits down against his will on a small, well-carved chair, he goes to stand up, but he's unable, his body almost glued to the chair itself. He says, "I would like to leave." And with that, he hears a scampering as bits of bark fall off the tree, and a hand reaches into the window, and another hand reaches into the window, and up comes the old man. Again, same toothless, toothy smile. "Hello! You're barefoot!" Christian goes, "Yeah, I am barefoot, but I am a wizard!" And he goes, "Interesting. Seems like you could use some shoes." And Christian says, "No, I'm quite all right." He goes, "I'll let you leave if you let me give you some shoes." And Christian goes, "Mushroom?" And there's no response. And then he goes, "Aw, no friends in here, one at a time." And he scoots back down onto the window, his fingers hanging on the entire time, though his head continues to bob up and down. And they occasionally rattle and tap. And Christian says, "Do you promise not to hurt me?" And he goes, "Do you promise to wear shoes in my forest?" And he goes, "Is it your forest?" And he goes, "No, but shoes are nice, don't you think?" And then the man dips below. And Christian says, "Okay, I'll put on your shoes, but you have to promise to let me leave." The man once more, this time coming full shoulder up to his collar, goes, "You're not really in a position to be negotiating, but a deal is a deal." And he sticks his foot through the window, expectantly for Christian to shake hands with it. And as he does, Christian notices that the man himself is not wearing shoes. But as Christian shakes his hands, the rest of the man slips into it. He picks up a set of tools that are not in any way used in cobbling and says, well, let's get busy, shall we? And then what happens?
Then the man comes over and right next to Christian begins to carve out a piece of the wall, forming small clogs.
The man begins to grab materials from different nooks and crannies and compartments and piles them up onto the table. And it seems like he has a plan to make something.
Christian blacks out. No, I'm just kidding. The old man is just he starts miming making shoes, like he's holding nothing and using the tools as though you might use them to make a shoe. They're already not the right tools, but the old man's essentially just miming making shoes, and Christian's just looking on, very confused.
The man goes over to a chest and opens it up, and he takes out what looks like 2 large cubes of cement, and he slowly places them down on Christian's feet.
Yeah, gonna give you a nice pair of cement shoes, see? Yeah.
All right,
But you did try.
time
You chose
to
this.
vote.
You
I
wanted
love that,
this to
Dom.
happen.
I love that a lot.
I had a plan with that little girl in that town, and now you'll never know.
I was excited, Alex.
thought-
I almost
You'll never know.
wanted to not give an answer because I liked yours so much. I didn't want people to
Yeah,
say
Alex,
anything.
I
Both
said
struck.
something and then I heard yours. I was like, damn.
I like the shoe merchant.
I like
the
the shoe
cobbler's a
merchant.
fun guy.
I like this guy. I like this guy.
We're all
I'm
just like,
disappointed
man,
because
I
I
wish
had a
we
really
did."
fun plan with that one.
Yes, Lila, yes.
Man named Tony.
Oh yeah, what's his last?
Tony Toadstool.
He doesn't have a last name. In mushroom culture, they don't need last
Ah,
names.
so you've been talking to Tony, huh? Well, then we're gonna give you some cement shoes.
Swimming with the fishes.
Scoob!
See if you'll be talking to Tony then.
But not like my mama's rigatoni, huh?
Tony.
You know what the secret ingredient is? Mushrooms. I'm kidding. It's love. That's cannibalism. We don't do that.
Ah, come on.
Well, Dan, where are we at?
All right, right now, grabs materials and piles them up. Vote for success. 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Mixed results.
The man gets scraps of leather, leaves from trees, and sap, and charcoal, and just all sorts of different things, and just it puts them all in this pile. Then grabs these tools, which, as stated before, are definitely not for making shoes, and begins whacking at them and sawing them and pulling them apart and all different, like just making an absolute mess on this table. Christian just sits sort of bewildered, very confused as this man continues his business. But the man, in a complete trance, is just hammering away at all of these materials. A sort of cloud of dust from some of the things, like the coal, begin to sort of cover or fill the air around him. And it gets difficult to really see what he's doing or, really, make out anything that's going on. But he continues, and he continues extremely fervently. The man is now jumping up and down all around the table, sort of mashing these materials together, stretching things, pulling things, attaching things, placing things, biting things sometimes, until eventually he sort of stops with his back to Christian. Christian kind of tries to lean around him to look at what he's created, but the man just slowly turns, and there in his hands are the two most pristine, amazing dancing shoes Christian has ever seen. It is in no way in Christian's mind possible for these shoes to have been made out of what nasty materials were on that table. And yet, somehow, they are perfect. The man looks at Christian and says, "May I?" And Christian just sort of nods uncomfortably. The man quickly ducks down and starts to slip on the shoes. And as he does, they fit miraculously. In fact, Christian's never had a pair of shoes that have fit better. Every little arch in the sole, every amount of cushioning, every support on the sides, it just works amazingly. Christian sort of stands there for a second, and as he feels them out, he looks at the man who's just tapping his fingers on the table, smiling. "Well, it looks like you've got quite a pair." Christian says, "I suppose, thank you. So I'm allowed to leave now?" And the man says, "Come on. I made these shoes for a very specific reason." And Christian goes, "I don't have anything to pay you. I'm not from here." And the man goes, "Oh, no, it's not material value I want. I challenge you to a dance-off." Christian, completely bewildered, doesn't really know what to do, but again, he can't really escape the situation either. So the man throws the table aside, clears all the chairs and everything out of the way, and now there is a big open room in the middle of this cobbler's tree stump hut. So Christian starts tapping his foot kind of nervously, and the man says, "Well, I suppose I'll start." Right after he does that, he walks to the middle of the room and just starts cracking every bone in his body as he warms up. Like, even more joints than you thought possible are cracking. And as he sort of cracks all of his bones, the man almost expands from being this strange, small little man to about average height of a human being, but very lanky and gangly. The man then takes out a pair of spoons and begins to tap them on his knee. Soon Christian knows what he's in for as the man begins tapping and smacking the spoons all around him, his lanky joints flailing in every direction. It's a whirlwind and a catastrophe of a human form, and yet somehow it works. The man is jingling along to his own beat, and yet his moves are just uncontrollably perfectly timed. He spins around and with a quick flourish holds out the spoons in his final move to Christian. Christian stands there extremely nervously now and reaches out to take the spoons from the strange man. So he walks over into the middle of the room and he starts tapping the spoons on his leg. Nothing really comes of it at first, but then his feet sort of start tapping too, along with the beat. Nothing much, but then he sort of starts nodding his head and sort of waving his arms a little bit. Pretty soon he's rolling his shoulders into it, and before he knows it, Christian is actually dancing around pretty gracefully with these spoons. It's by no means the lanky whirlwind of a dance that the man was doing, but he's got his own rhythm to it that seems to be working out. He taps around and dances and spins, and pretty soon he stops and sees the man's face is aglow. He keeps going and tapping some more, throwing the spoons into the air and catching them at some point, and eventually he stomps his foot onto the ground, reaches out both of his arms with a flourish, and sort of just says, "Ta-da!" What is the man's reaction?
So as Christian looks around the room, he goes, "Ta-da!" Looks around, but all he can see are the clothes the man once wore laying on the ground.
He says, "Ta-da!" And the old cobbler immediately hunches over again and says, "Those are the best shoes I've ever seen. I must have them."
Christian doesn't realize that he has just a huge grin on his face because he actually just had so much fun, way more fun than he has in such a long time. And the old man does too. And he says, "Ta-da!" And before the old man can say anything, he hears boom, and the smile goes away. There was an explosion at the base of the house.
The man, so Christian goes ta-da, and the man just looks at him and goes, could use some work. We'll try again tomorrow, and goes to leave.
Oh boy.
So looking good for Christian.
All right. Time to vote.
Vote time.
Vote! Alex, not gonna lie, I was getting ready to have a dance battle for control of the next. We all just
It's the only logical step, right?
Yeah. I was like, he's gonna finish explaining what the old man does, and then he's gonna make us all stew. So what does Christian do in response?
Oh, like I was going to make you decide how Christian did in the dance battle?
Yeah, but we'd have to dance it out instead of trying.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Show us your moves.
I don't agree with Chad on this one, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's been a minute.
It's been.
Ben.
Alright. Boom! There was an explosion.
There are some things that are just instinctive for us at this point.
There's
In case you in the audience haven't caught on yet, that's one of them.
there's an explosion. Vote for success. 3, 2, 1. All right,
What, a
4
quadruple?
thumbs
Wait,
up.
I don't vote. I don't vote.
They're both the old man and Christian. Christian says, "By the way, what's your name?" And he says, "Elsmore." And Christian says, "Okay, thanks." And then they said their bodies are still tingling with excitement and dance, but they don't. As hard as they grip onto the moment of happiness that they just had, it sinks between their fingers because they realize that they are in peril and the danger is upon them. Christian, now having danced, can freely move around the house and is no longer locked in his state like he was before. And Elsmore says, "Quickly, you have to get down there. They've finally got here." And they book it down the stairs, and this is a quite a large house, but the entire portion of the bottom floor is all broken out. They almost can't get down the spiral staircase. Well, in fact, Christian gets past the spiral staircase and sees this massive hole in the bottom of the house. And then when he looks back, Elsmore is back into his more hunched form. I guess now that he isn't dancing, he's moving a bit slower. And there's something in the distance. See, Christian standing on the base floor, can look immediately out into the clearing surrounding the woods outside, and he sees a small garrison of people, and there's these cannons is the right word for it, just maybe not the cannons you're thinking of. They're large and marble, and they have carvings on them, and Christian sees a burst of flame, and realizing what's about to come next, he says, Ellsmore, get back up there! But it's too late, and another smash is coming in, and Christian jumps out of the way, but the other half of the house goes out from under him. Christian rolls away from the rubble, but the entire house is falling down. It all falls down, and there's just a pile of rubble surrounding the solitary tree that the house surrounded. Christian is weary. He can't tell what's happening. He tries to yell out Ellsmore's name, but he's not sure if words even are coming out of his mouth. He is slowly, his vision is slowly darkening. And the last thing he sees before he goes is a tall woman in dark plate armor standing over him with a staff. She says something that, seeing what the words on her lips say, he can only make out the phrase "wizard," and he blacks out.
Ah, there it is.
There it
It
is.
happened.
There it is.
Yeah, what happens?
Christian comes to in a dungeon cell. Nobody around him, and poof, Tony shows up.
Well, why not? It's 1857. It's a small town just outside of the Oklahoma Territory. A young girl is playing around in the grass outside of her house when she hears her mother call for her to come home for supper.
Let's see. Christian comes to. He is in a royal throne room that is completely inverted. Gravity here works in opposite.
Christian comes to, and he's on the back of a moving horse. The horse is galloping at great speed. He realizes his arms are tied around the person that he's holding. It's the woman in the dark armor that's riding the horse that he is on.
Oh, nice.
These are so long.
You can shorten them up.
Yeah. Be succinct.
I'm trying. All right, vote it up. What was the name? What was the name of the person that he was gonna go defeat?
Oh, the name of the person's going to defeat the Baroness.
Yeah. Did they have
It's
it?
just that I don't think we named the Baroness yet.
Okay.
Come on, Dan, don't you have your cork board with red string on it in front of you?
In my head, but I quickly forget.
In my head. In my head.
Something about that song just rubs me the wrong way. I just don't enjoy it.
Oh, I love it. I enjoy it.
Oh.
You know, it's really hard to write a story with 4 other people.
Yeah.
The number of alternative paths my brain has had to take during the course of this evening is
Yep.
certainly many. But that's the fun of the challenge.
Vote, folks, vote.
So the thing is, I was talking about how he was like going in and out of consciousness, and I really wanted to use the phrase "brown out" because Alex, I think you don't understand. That is actually what a brownout isn't when you poop yourself. It's when you are like kind of half forget
Really?
what happened. Yeah, that's how the phrase
You're
brown
thinking
out
of
is.
brown note.
I was real concerned that I was using that phrase wrongly for
I
years.
guess I'm just mixing it up with Toad Brown. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could
I
have
think
sworn browning
it's
out
possible
when you
that
shit yourself.
It's possible that colloquially people have adopted the phrase in multiple ways.
Yeah, I could have sworn it was when you shit yourself and then pass out.
I thought that's what it was
Oh.
too. Anyway,
Oh, okay.
we're going to come to in the royal throne with upside down gravity. Vote for success. 3, 2, 1. All right.
All right. There's a moment where Christian comes to. The first sensation that he notices is the heat in his head, where all the blood has started to pool. Then, as he looks up, his hands bound in an one iron brace. They're bound together at the wrist, and there's a chain that leads to the ceiling of what would be if the room were right side up. They're standing with no trouble whatsoever, his 2 feet in his new shoes on the floor, in front of another large stone chair. In it sits a beast of a woman in large dark brown armor, pauldrons that curve to the side in a very ornate fashion, but equally scarred up and down it. There sits this beast of a woman. She has a serious expression on her face, and across the breastplate of her armor is what at one point was a very gold inlet design of a bear, but has now had a big claw mark ripped through it. The woman raises her one gauntlet hand, which has plates that interweave into each other. And as she does it, the room grows quiet at this sign of pause. Putting her hand back down, she leans forward and says, "I was told a wizard had entered my territory. One thing you may not know about us, wizard, is that we lack the magical prowess of our sister kingdom." As she points vaguely in a direction, Christian comes to surmise this is the direction from which he has come himself, and starts to woefully look up at this imposing figure. "When I was appointed as Baroness, I swore an oath to reclaim lands lost to us by those that feel entitled to wield magical forces, while we," and there's kind of like a stomp of all the guards, "go without. And then, to my undoing, they send me a wizard to try and kill me. I had told them many times before, if they were mad enough to kill me, they should have done it with someone of their own skills." And Christian starts to think, could he talk himself out of this? What's going on? Is there a way to escape? He's shaken by the presence of this large, imposing woman. And she now steps down off of the raised platform and gets right up into his face, having to lean over a little bit just to get it. With a big puff of breath, he can smell it smells like the sweetest wine that he's ever tasted waft over his senses. And the woman, in kind of a snarl, looks at him and says, "So tell me, wizard, what am I going to do with you? I think it's only fair that I at least give you a shot." And with that, she swipes the metal chain, and like string, it snaps immediately, breaking at a key point in the link. And Christian's hands go back in reaction, and she says, "What do you say, wizard? Up for a fight?" And she yanks the chain, not even waiting for Christian's answer, and throws him into the center of the courtroom. As he does, he trips over what would be like an upside down chandelier, but it's currently right side up in this world. And as he trips, he slides back into the large stained glass floor that's inset lower into the ceiling. And he stands there, hands still bound, loose bit of chain swinging back and forth as this large, imposing baroness and koosh lands on the glass, landing on the framing in between pieces. And as she does that, she raises her one gauntlet hand, and Thor style, a large two-bladed axe snaps to her hand, and she puts it down. What's Christian gonna do about that?
Christian kind of laughs nervously as his hands are still bound, and he goes, Tony! Tony!
Christian calls out for Tony. Hey, I could use a little help right about now. I mean, check out this magic. And Tony appears right next to the Baroness.
Christian falls to his knees. I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not a wizard. I don't deserve to be here.
Tony, or Christian, acts like he's playing along, and it's like, okay, I'll fight you, as he double checks that he still has that lighter from earlier in his pocket.
Everyone knows the natural counter to a two-handed axe is a lighter.
All right, time to vote.
Tony, Christian has found himself in a pickle here, hasn't he?
Quite the pickle.
Right.
A pickle, Harry!
Ray.
Tony!
Yeah,
What
you
a
know,
pickle you've got yourself in this time.
Harry Potter.
Harry Bloody Potter.
Well, Christian.
I mean, if the guy's name is Christian, it's probably more of a Chronicles of Narnia story than a Harry Potter story.
Do you guys know that there's a couple streets really close to us? One name's Christian Street, and one block down, literally, the next one is straight Slater Street. So it goes Christian Slater. I
Nice.
swear. Dan, have you realized that?
No.
It's like 3 blocks away from us.
Wow.
Actually, I'm really glad I got to watch you put that on and take that off all in the same
Yeah.
voting cycle.
There's a T-shirt inside of my sweatshirt. So I was wearing two.
You're telling me we get to watch you put it on again? My lucky
Oh,
day.
Wow, going for broke.
Oh,
What is
guys,
this
we gotta
weird
get
reverse
some-
stripping you guys are cheering for?
Put it on.
Ooh!
Shit.
Oh yeah!
Get some more. Yeah.
No chaos.
There's a turtleneck. Fuck.
Oh, I'm putting on a zip up.
Oh.
Hey guys, ready? Ready?
Oh.
Hey-o.
A hood!
Damn. All right, we got a tie right now between Tony, and hey, Tony, can you help? Diverse answers.
I think they're similar, but also very different.
I'm gonna go with Tony!
All right, vote for success. 3, 2, 1. All right.
All right. So Christian being confronted by this massive baroness and her giant dual-headed axe, cries out, Tony! Tony! And as he does, he sees the little mushroom friend pop up around his wrist. He goes, can I get a little help here? Tony goes, sure thing. And as he says sure thing, he starts to envelop the hands of Christian, swelling as he does so under the shackles, as the shackles then burst with just a swelling mushroom head at the end of each arm of Christian. And Christian starts to stretch a little bit, says, all right, let's do this. And the Baroness lets out a massive roar as a challenge. throws her axe behind her as she runs toward, not on the ground, but holds it behind her as she runs, dragging this thing, smashing stained glass pieces that go under and out, up into the world, and leaving a large line of crushed glass in her wake. As Christian takes his fighting stance and he throws a jab out, which in turn pulls Tony out like a projectile, shooting a large stream of mushroom straight at the Baroness's feet, trying to pop glass before she can take a step onto it. She deftly dodges and weaves as he's throwing these punches towards the floor, trying to crack her steps and catch her off guard. And she makes it up towards him and lifts the mighty axe above her head and finally grabs it with her other hand to bring it down onto him. And Christian raises his arms and a giant mushroom umbrella encompasses him as the Baroness pulls her axe down and splits the mushroom right down the middle, allowing Christian enough time to back up out of the swing. She then goes for another swipe from the side as he does a similar thing with a giant mushroom head coming out, getting cut off and falling out of the windows. The glasses swelling around them and bright light glinting off of all of the different pieces is creating a mirror effect and creating dazzling flashes as the sparks from the axe hit the ground, the metal framing of the stained glass and spark up and create dazzling light shows from all of the multicolors floating around them. "You should probably focus on some offense right now," says Tony, as Christian says, "I'm trying just to stay alive here." Tony says, "I've got an idea," as he encompasses the rest of Christian's body in a similar plate-like appearance that the Baroness has been wearing this whole time. And he brings Christian to a rough approximate size of the Baroness as she looks at him and goes, "Well played, wizard. But mimicry is the ultimate form of a compliment, though you will not live to see your flattery rewarded," as she takes a large swing and finds the armor set is empty. What happens next? The mushroom armor is empty.
Christian, suddenly disoriented, finds himself behind the Baroness and without armor, watching as Tony gets cleft in twain.
Having cleaved the now empty armor, Christian had been jutted out the back of the armor, sparing his life, and he has a sad death scene with Tony.
Everything is black for Christian, but he didn't black out. No, he's conscious, but everything around him is dark and dirty.
Brown, maybe?
Out, maybe?
Christian finds himself in a small Oklahoma town in 1857.
Wow.
It's a small Oklahoma town in 1857.
Damn. I swear to God, Dan. I swear to God.
All right, time to vote.
I'm kind of mad at myself because I had the boxing glove idea when I said my piece, and then I was like, Nothing about what I just said says what I'm going to do in this.
Oh, goodness.
Well, we're kind of winding down here. It's going to be interesting to see how this resolves itself.
Yeah.
The stakes are always so high.
Every vote really does matter. Boy.
It's so easy to have the majority as one
Nice.
person in this voting system.
I swear if Dan hijacks my story.
Just
It
sound like a
feels
damn
right.
thing to do at all.
No. I'm honestly surprised people haven't gone for the Tony death scene.
uh,
I thought you would have wanted a little drama on your front.
Do you guys get what mine was?
Yeah, Brownout.
mm-hmm.
No, I guess we don't know yet.
No, I think I got it.
MLD, why do you always do this to us? Why are you
Wow.
doing this? Well, looks like that's what it is. But Dan, you have to make this relevant
Oh,
somehow.
God.
So
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
luck.
I
Dan.
got it.
Good luck,
I
Dan.
You did it for
got
the
it.
meme, and now look
All
where you
right,
are.
vote
You got it.
now. 3, 2, 1. Success vote, please.
Oh,
Please.
Okay. All right. For a split moment, everything is dark as the mushroom surrounds all of him, and then he wakes up. He looks up and he sees some laundry flapping in the wind on a clothesline. He hears the laugh of a little girl running around in the yard. He sits up and he sees her chasing after a butterfly that's flying through the air. He looks around and he has no idea where he is. He sees on the side of the house, Home Sweet Oklahoma written on the side. The door with the sign opens up and a woman says, "Guinevere, it's dinner time!" And she looks over and she locks eyes with Christian, not knowing who he is. She says, "Guinevere, get inside now!" And Guinevere goes, "Okay," and runs inside. The woman closes the door behind her, staying outside. She walks over to Christian and says, "What are you doing on my lawn?" Christian says, "I don't know. Where am I?" And she's like, "Have you never? It's Oklahoma in 1857. Don't even. I'm gonna have someone run down to the police if you're gonna stay on my lawn like this. And by that, that's what I name my gun that I keep in above my kitchen cabinet is the police. I have it painted on the side." And Christian's like, okay. He stands up, and his shoes shine in the light, and she looks down and is like, "Are you wearing pristine dancing shoes?" And he's like, I guess so." And she's like, "You really don't know how time works at all, do you?" And he's like, "What?" We cut back. Christian cuts back, lying on the ground. In the same palace, he looks over. He sees Tony split in half, lying next to him. He looks up and he sees the Baroness standing over him. The Baroness takes off her helmet and puts it down. She looks familiar. He believes it was the same woman that he just saw in the Oklahoma town. She says, "Any last words, wizard?" Christian looks over at Tony, who's clearly not able to help. And he looks up at her and says, "Do you have a daughter named Guinevere?" The Baroness, with her arms up in the air, ready to strike him down, says, "I don't think so." Christian says, "What if I told you? What if I told you that I think you did?" And she says, Shut up, wizard. You're just making things up now." And her axe falls down. What happens next?
Oh my God, Dan.
Oh, Dan.
Do you have a daughter named Guinevere? I don't think so.
Cool, thanks.
Hey, Martha. Masterfully done, Dan.
What happens next?
Next, we cut to the town square. A minstrel has been sent back to the Lord. Says, "Sir, we failed again."
The axe stops inches from Christian's face. He looks up from his squinting to see a torn apart and barely functional Tony just barely got in the way in time to stop the axe.
Christian receives a fatal blow, but in his dying breath, he looks at Tony.
Christian opens his eyes, and he's in his house where he started the day prior, and it's another boring day.
All right, let's vote it up.
Oh, the classic "It was all a dream."
This is some endgame
Classic.
shit right here.
My God.
These are all like endings, so I feel like Chad, how do you want this to end?
How do you want this story to end, chat?
Yeah, it's kind of up to you at this point.
Oh,
Say.
goodness.
There's no reason that time can't be all fucking.
Oh, yeah.
That's
When,
true.
When everything went dark for Christian, then it was because he turned into a mushroom.
Ah, see.
Oh my God.
That's what I was going for.
All right, well, we already have
Wow.
4 votes in all
Wow.
for Christian to take a fatal blow and look to Tony.
Ooh.
Vote for
Mhm,
success.
mhm.
3, 2, 1.
Hey, Dad.
Great success.
Full success.
Full success. All right, let's see.
Full send.
Full send. Confused by the trickery of the wizard, the Baroness drops the mighty axe deep into his chest, glass shattering behind him as the axe goes through his entire torso, now exposed without Tony's armor over top. The Baroness rips the axe back and goes and once more sits on their stone, now just pondering the axe as Christian lays there bleeding out through the stained glass, the red running through the metal cracks, covering all the various colored glass that lay underneath him. In his dying breath, he coughs, blood comes up a little bit to the one side and it trickles down. And he looks back to the one person who had been his companion this entire time. He looks over to see Tony. Tony's form visibly shrinking as time goes on, getting smaller and smaller, reverting back to its original mushroom stage. The one little hand of Tony reaches out and with the gentlest of fingers, brushes against the extended finger of Christian as the two of them just barely make contact. Tony, kind of with the most benign smile, says, "I told you it's really dangerous to sleep under the bear's woods. With that, the Baroness lets off a huff as a bit of smoke comes from her nostrils. And Christian goes to speak, but the words can't because he gurgles a little bit. And Tony the mushroom says, "It's okay. You got farther than I did. The last Tony wasn't nearly as good as me," and pats himself a little bit. And with that, Tony, his essence, curls up the finger around the hand and goes into Christian. And with that, there's a large sucking sound. And Christian's body is ripped through the stained glass. And then suddenly, it's like floating in a void. But then form starts to slowly come to Christian's consciousness once more. And he pops up. And there's a traveler about to fall asleep against a tree and says, "Oh, I wouldn't sleep here if I were you." Fade to black.
Yeah, we did it again! 3 for 3 full circles.
He becomes a mushroom. Yeah.
Max, it's funny you said that because that was always my ending.
Yeah.
Oh God! Why do we go for the full circle?
No happy endings.
Oh.
No happy endings.
No happy endings, but always a complete circle.
Hell yeah, baby.
The end where we started.
Hell yeah. Jonathan.
The first one was a happy ending.
I guess kinda, yeah.
Yeah, but also a full circle.
But also a full circle. I gotta say, dude, it's a good device.
It's a fun time.
I love the trope of the failed hero becomes the next mentor. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's a
Fairy
cycle.
tales, true.
The
Yeah.
circle of life.
We had some
It's
great
the
scenes
show and tell live.
in there.
And
Like
it
the
moves us
whole
all.
Shoemaker scene, I loved it. Steve, your Animu fight scene, I loved that too.
Yeah.
I was really excited about that one.
Yeah, glad we could go to 1857.
Yeah.
Not how I would have done it, but we did it.
Third time's the charm. You should try the
Oh my
third
God.
time.
I'm just saying. It's like time is bizarre. Was that in their head? Was it not? Things aren't as easily escapable as they seem, and that was the point of that scene.
Oh, I was planning on doing some timey-wimey shit with it too, but
We
yeah.
already had time travel. It's
Yeah.
not like we were doing a normal rom-com, and I'm like,
No,
time
absolutely
travel.
Would have preferred it.
Dan, don't worry, we'll do a rom-com one of these times.
I know. That's all I want.
A time travel rom-com would be pretty funny, actually.
He did.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
Time
make
Traveler's Wife,
one of them.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious
Oh.
movie. Great rom-com.
Part of my original thought for when we were beginning, right before we got transported to Fantasy World, was that this was going to turn into a Lifetime original movie.
It was possible.
Excellent.
Anything is
excellent.
possible. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you kindly.
We hope you had a good time.
We're gonna go rate something a little bit different tonight.
Something.
So something. So this isn't really a streamer, more is it something that a streamer has set up and just kind of exists now. And I've been spending way too much time on it. For those of you that might remember r/place, someone has basically set up a live version of that on Twitch. If you don't know what r/place is, basically it was a Reddit thing where every few seconds you could place one colored pixel on a large board and people work together and that kind of stuff. Someone has recreated that in Twitch and it's a lot of fun. So we're gonna go to Twitch Does Pixel Art. So no need to spam brickos when we arrive. I just think it's a cool place and I want you all to see what it's about.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
No, I just like to show interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So
Well,
go
all right.
hang out with that.
Yeah, thank you everyone for hanging with us. We'll see you Friday for our
Come back
show.
Friday.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Don't get sucked into no mysterious time voids.
Don't sleep by
No.
any trees.
No, don't do it.
It's
Don't
probably
go to
better if you
57
don't-
Ohio.
Yeah, it's probably better if you don't talk to mushrooms.
Yeah, never talk to shrooms.
But take them all you want.
Then you will talk to them.
Don't walk a really far way.